agenda items one week and then the next week 10 to 15. You know, it's kind of unbalanced. And I'm sure that there's some things that is, you know, you have to do because of time. But I think that we
Oh my God.
There's another Kimberly Jones.
right. Yeah, so that's the only thing I would say.
Thank you. Councilman Antoine,
Yeah, no comment.
Councilman Gutierrez, Councilwoman Wells.
Yeah, I agree with Councilwoman James, and I was just gonna say, like, maybe if we start working on it, like, as soon as the first meeting of the month is over with, it won't put everyone up under so much pressure, because I'm the same way, like, I'm gonna be honest, I did not read all the list. And then if, with the putting everything together and voting on it, and no disrespect, Mayor, but all of the reading just actually makes the meeting even longer. So that's gonna cut all of that out. It'll just be the items that we're voting on, and then that's it.
Yes,
That we're
it's-
approving.
the consent agenda is one item. You approve it with one motion, I'm sorry.
Okay, because when we post the agenda online, all of this is there, right? Like everything, all of the readings and everything,
Yes, ma'am.
the summaries, I mean. Yeah, okay.
Councilman Ramirez. All right, thank you. And let's see, you're on item 4. Council discussion and approval on the employee benefits renewal. Item 4, council discussion and approval on the employee benefits renewal for fiscal year 2024-2025. The city's employee benefits program renews annually on July 1st. Our current medical, dental, and vision insurance carrier is Cigna. As you know, the city recently hired MSI Benefits Group as its new insurance broker following an RFQ for employee benefits brokerage services. MSI worked directly with Cigna to obtain a competitive renewal offer. The underwriting workup called for a 17% increase. Cigna released the initial renewal at a 9% increase with a verbal non-marketing offer of 7% increase. The city manager, HR director, deputy director of HR, and MSI reviewed these options. The team agreed that if Cigna lowered the increase to a 4% increase with additional wellness dollars, that this would be the recommended option presented to the mayor and council for approval. Mr. Clark? you have
Yes,
the floor.
ma'am. We actually have MSI here with us, our new broker, Mayor Butler. So I'll turn it over to him and let him go through the presentation for our renewal.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Thanks for having me. It's John Leggett with MSI Benefits Group. Go through this presentation here and get it to click next. Okay, so yes, the city is currently insured. The group health, dental, and vision is with Cigna. This was our starting point. This is our initial renewal. This shows the 3 plans that are offered to the city employees, the premiums above and the deductions down below. This is again where Cigna started. As said there, we all got together, and Cigna was initially, they'd offered us 7%, and when we met, we said, okay, if they can get that down to 4%, we will accept that offer. And so what you will see, if I go the right direction, is, whoops, sorry. Well, okay. Wow. Final offer, there we are, sorry. Okay, so these are the same 3 plans at the 4% increase. There's no change recommended on these 3 plans. We've got the Local Plus and then the 2 OAP plans. Got 155 enrolled in the lower cost plan, 80 enrolled in the middle plan, and we've got 31 employees enrolled in the plan on the right, the OAP plan in orange. And so they do have the health reimbursement arrangements would stay intact. There would be no change to the plan design and no change to the employee costs down below, as you see the weekly deductions. And so this here is the overall premium increase is 4%, and the actual increase to the city comes out to be just over 4%. By holding the employee deductions. I'll pause here, see if there's any questions.
Any questions or comments, Councilwoman James?
Is the deductible still at 1,500?
So the deductible is $1,000 on the middle plan. And it does have the HRA, the health reimbursement arrangement that reimburses $500 of the deductible.
Came down from 1,500 to 1,000 now?
1,500 is for family. So it's 500 per individual, depending on which plan you're on. If you're on the plan on the left or the right, those are $500 deductible plans, and they're capped at 1,500 for the family.
Councilman Wells,
No.
Councilman Mears. Councilman Mears?
All right. Oh, so big. Okay. Also a change that's taking place this year is within Cigna, their health and wellness program is currently Virgin Pulse. And it is moving, it's currently Motivate Me, and it's moving over to Virgin Pulse. And the recommended option, incentive option, is option 3. This will be very similar to Motivate Me, but it's an improved program where employees will be able to earn Pulse cash dollars based on doing healthy things like biometric screenings and going to the doctor for their preventive exams. Through that, 3 of the options that we're going to add would be biometric outcomes, the telephonic coaching, Cigna's telephonic coaching program, and then the Cigna Dental Goal. So there'll be additional programs within this health and wellness benefit where employees employees can earn points, which can result in dollars. They can earn up to $400 per year. And as it said, as we read earlier, the current wellness fund for the city is $20,000. And so that was part of the deal when we pushed back on Cigna and we said we want another $10,000. So we got that bumped up to $30,000. So the rewards that employees are able to earn does pull from that wellness fund. There will still be, we'd love it if the employees, used it all, but there will be money left over, which the city will be able to use that money for health and wellness things throughout the year, the health fair and that kind of thing. So option 3 under the Virgin Pulse program is what we're recommending on that. The dental did not change. It was in a rate guarantee, so there's no change to dental. That will remain the same. No change to employee deductions on that. So we're in a rate lock, and the same applies to the vision. No change. Oh my gosh, this thing's tricky. It's clicks. Sorry. It's quick. The vision is going to hold as well. No change there for employees, same deductions. And then the life insurance, again, in a rate guarantee, the city offers every employee $20,000, and there's no change in the life insurance through Lincoln. We're in a rate guarantee there as well. Man, this thing, I don't think it's me. There we go. Okay, sorry. I mentioned the health risk the health reimbursement arrangement is currently through MedCom. One of the things we're making a recommendation to do is to change the administration over to Admin America. It's a local administrator here in Georgia, and we have a lot of business with them. They do a really good job. It's going to make the process much easier for employees. And then in addition to that, we're recommending that the city let employees sign up for a flexible spending account and dependent care account. And this is where employees can elect a dollar amount and have money coming out of their paycheck. And then they get a debit card that's loaded with that money, and they're able to use that card for any medical, dental, and vision expenses that are not covered under the plan. So medications, co-pays, things like that. It's their money. They fund it throughout the year with tax-free dollars, and they get to spend that throughout the year. So if you do $1,000 and you're in a 25% tax bracket, it's really like $750 coming out of your pay. So it's a really good program. Most employers of the size City of Forest Park offer this type of program. It is regulated by the IRS. So the annual benefit the annual max for 2024 is $3,200, and employees can roll over up to $640. So it used to be a use it or lose it benefit. It's no longer use it or lose it. So employees, after the plan year is up, if they have money in there, they could roll it over to the next plan year up to that $640 amount. We would make the recommendation to set a minimum. So the minimum would be $250. If an employee wanted to sign up, that they would have to at least do $250, and then they would pay that it's about $4 or so a paycheck out of every week. And then the dependent care account, this is a nice benefit for those parents, be it married or single parents, who want to pre-fund their daycare, things like that. You can fund up to $5,000 for a married family and $2,500 for single. And basically, you're taking that out of their paycheck. They get that money on a debit card, and they're able to pay for that daycare with tax-free dollars. So that would be part of this program if recommended. The cost for the program is $4.50 per employee for anyone that signs up. And obviously the city's not paying matching FICA on the benefits, on the amounts that employees are electing to contribute. So it essentially comes out to be a wash to the city and really no administrative cost when it's all said and done. Any questions on this program? All right, and so the recommended options to renew the medical, dental, and vision with Cigna, no change to the employee plans or cost. Renew the basic life and AD&D insurance with Lincoln Financial. There's no change there. Change the HR administrator to Medcom and from Medcom to Admin America, and then offer the employees the flexible spending account and dependent care account. And you can see the overall budget there is just over a 4% increase, which does include all the benefits that the city contributes to.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman James, any final questions or comments? Councilman Antoine?
No.
Councilman Gutierrez?
I have a question, but I guess I don't know if this would be towards you, but I've seen in other, for the school system, we have something like a sick bank with sick days. I don't know if that would be something that we would set up as HR, or I'm be an option. I just think it's a really good idea, that a lot of employees take advantage of.
When you say a sick bank specifically, what do you reference?
It's like if I have the flu, I share it with you.
Also shared, so we do have a policy by which employees, what did you say?
I share it with you.
Oh,
Not the flu, the sick leave.
we do have a policy, Councilman Gutierrez, practice currently on the books where based upon, I think if it's something catastrophic, HR does send out a request for donating leave. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells?
No.
Councilman Mears?
Do we have to enlarge our administration of this, when it comes out, if we chose to do it in-house? We have to have more staff or?
So great question. Actually, what's going to happen now that we have MSI on as our broker, a lot of the tasks that HR was handling, MSI handles that, so this is simple administration here where we just pay a monthly bill. And one of the things that MSI is going to do, they're going to go through the monthly bill and break it down by department just to make it easier for tracking purposes. So this is just your annual renewal that you get every year.
Correct. And I'll just add, once this is approved tonight, we will be designing an employee benefits guide. Every employee is going to get a new guide. We're going to have a town hall meeting on June 4th, I believe, the morning of June 4th at 10 a.m. at the rec department, and go over the benefits and distribute the packets, and then open enrollment is going to be the following week.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 5, council discussion and approval on establishing the city of Forest Park as a Purple Heart city. Background and history. The Purple Heart is a military decoration awarded to members of the armed forces who are wounded or killed in action. Designating a city as a Purple Heart city allows communities to express gratitude and support for veterans and their families. Any questions or comments, Councilwoman James?
I see a lot of veterans in the building. Thank you all so much for your service. We appreciate you.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes, likewise. Thank you for your service. God bless you.
Councilman Gutierrez?
I'm just proud we're doing this. Excited.
Thank you, Councilwoman Wells?
Thank you so much for your service and for being here.
And Councilman Mears?
Thank you, sir. All you do.
Yes, and then we do have a proclamation in which they are going to stand and receive in honor of this momentous occasion. So thank you all for being here. Item 6, council discussion and approval of an employee assistance program. So the Leaf Life Initiative, championed by Mayor Butler and subsequently approved by the City Council, aims to address the issues of mental health crises faced by employees. To that end, 2 employee assistance programs are being introduced to provide wraparound services that can help employees navigate the complexities of such crises. It is well known fact that the stress is a common experience for many employees and business owners. Over 26% of businesses and HR leaders report being extremely or very stressed. This number increases to 35% of leaders from companies with 250 to 500 employees. In light of this, the City of Forest Park conducted a survey of its employees, which revealed that over half of them expressed concerns about their mental health. In response to these concerns, we are proposing the enlistment of 2 providers for EAP services in the city. These providers, One Source Counseling and Tuck Holdings Therapy and Crisis Counseling Services, have been carefully selected to meet the unique needs of the city's employees. One Source Counseling is an independent, family-owned, limited liability corporation that specializes in catering to small to mid-sized organizations and businesses. They have a network of clinicians throughout Georgia, and their services are streamlined to respond quickly and effectively and efficiently to employee needs. This organization has, and in the past, provided services to our fire department through grant funding, and they have received very positive feedback from the fire personnel. Tuck Holding Therapy and Crisis Counseling Services, on the other hand, is an independent company that places a premium on the well-being of city workers, recognizing the stresses and challenges inherent to municipal work. They provide comprehensive therapy services that are easily accessible to employees. Currently, Dr. Tuck provides chaplaincy services to our police department. If approved, all city employees would have access to either service based on their preference. Both services charge a fee between $90 and $95 per hour. We recommend that both services be approved to provide the necessary support for the mental health of our employees. By doing so, we will be taking a significant step towards creating a healthier, more productive workforce. Staff recommendation is for approval of both agreements. And do we have, is Ms. Nancy or Dr. Tuck? No, okay. Any questions or comments, Councilwoman James?
Yes, so the question that I have is related to services that the employee may want to receive. Do they have to use these particular mental health issuers, or can they use whomever?
So, and I'll defer that to our HR director, Ms. Brown, but in order for you to get the benefit of the city paying for it, you would have to use the 2 approved vendors that the city has. Anything outside of that, I know there are some opportunities to where you can get mental health assistance through insurance, but it would just depend on what it is. I'll let our director of HR go further into that.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So currently, we do have a program through Cigna. The employees can utilize those services through Cigna. And they can go through our telemed system, and they can go through, actually talk to someone if they have issues. But we also have Empowerment, which is the one we have now. And we do need another service to assist because a lot of employees, they go to her, but she's only one person. And we have 280 employees. And it's certain things that I feel that she can attack. And we do need some additional assistance with like mental health issues that's above her. I feel that what she can provide to our employees.
Councilman Antoine,
No comment. That sounds good.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Excited, can I use it?
Councilman Wells.
That's a no.
Well, I just had one question. So is this rate? Who came up with the rate?
Actually, I cut it. So they submitted, maybe it was 140, 150. I can't remember what the initial was. And I said, I think I contacted HR to see what we were currently paying for the services. So it had to be in line with what we were currently paying for our EAP provider that she just referenced. But whatever their number was, I negotiated down.
Okay, well, I was just gonna ask, because I was thinking it was too low. So I was, so I was gonna ask, like, who came up with the number and compared to other, is it?
It was compared, the number was compared to what we were currently paying per hour for, is it Empower?
Empowerment.
Empowerment. So that's where the number came from, but it was higher. It was definitely higher.
Councilman Mears.
I think it's a good idea. Everybody needs to tune up every once in a while.
Man, baby.
Probably need to start up here. You know what I'm saying?
Ward
But
5.
I'm for it.
Start at Ward 5.
Thank you. Item 7, council discussion and approval of board appointments. Background and history. Throughout the course of the year, there are various board appointments that come up. Staff is seeking direction on the following board appointments. One is the Planning Commission, in which the appointee will fill the unexpired term of Mr. Andy Porter, and that term is said to expire of March 7th of 2026. The second is of the Urban Design Review Board. The appointee will fill the unexpired term of Leonardo Penalosa, and that term would expire March 7th, 2025. And then the last is being of the Downtown Development Authority, in which we are seeking to reappoint Mr. Eric Stallings for another 4-year term. And I know we do have some people that are interested in filling these positions. And so I would like to defer, if that is the desire of the council, the discussion, to executive session, and then we can make the formal appointment after our executive session. Any comments or questions on that, Councilwoman James?
No, I agree with that.
Councilman Antoine?
agree.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
No.
Thank you, and Councilman Mears. Thank you. Item 8, council discussion and approval of the municipal court fines and fees schedule. Background and history. The City of Forest Park Municipal Court Fines and Fees Schedule. All offenses listed on the fines and fees schedule are derived from all traffic, misdemeanor, and city ordinances that fall within the jurisdiction of the City of Forest Park. Fines and fees are updated every 2 years by judges within their jurisdiction. And good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, city
Good evening.
councilors. Well, this afternoon, the municipal court is seeking the approval of their fine and fee schedule. Actually, the fine and fee schedule for the court is derived from the official code of Georgia, which is Title 40, which is motor vehicles and traffic. So that is where the fine comes in. Say, for example, actually, they set a fine, say from 150 to 500. So the judge in each jurisdiction has the authority to put the fine within that gap, either from 150 to 500. So they cannot go over that amount. So what I did is I did a survey with other jurisdiction around in our environment, like Jonesboro, Lake City, Lovejoy. And I also attached that so that you could see that we are all also in that realm of our fines and fees. Actually, the fine and fees is not only, say for instance, we collected $285. That total actually does not go to the city. If you actually look on your attachment there, the fine is also sent to the Georgia Superior Court Clerk Operative Authority. It also sent to the Peace Officer Immunity and Benefit Fund. It is also sent to the county drug, which is the city, Clayton County, and it also sent to local victim. So from that 285, we only get like 1/3 of that amount that was collected for our fine and fees. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Councilwoman James.
What's, excuse me, what's the difference between cash and security?
Okay, so that schedule is just for her. So it say, for instance, someone get arrested, the cash amount is that fine, which is 285. But say, for instance, they get arrested and they want to bond through a bonding company, which is a surety. So that could be a different amount. Actually, it doubles that amount for the bonding company, which we do not have any control over the bonding company.
Thank you.
Councilman Antoine.
Thank you for your hard work. I see it.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you, ma'am. I continue to contribute. I got a speeding ticket at the school zone. I don't understand that one because I felt like it was my daughter. I don't think I still don't fully understand those, but it's my third one.
I'm gonna defer that to the police department.
Yeah. Running those cars.
Councilwoman Wells
No, thank you so much.
and Councilman Mears. All right, thank you.
Everyone in my family now has gotten one.
That's-
They're $80.
Okay, let's roll it back in. Item 9, council discussion and approval of a task order for Falcon Design to assist the city of Forest Park with bid assistance and construction administration for park signs. Background and history. The city is proposing to install new monument signs at city parks to reflect updated branding. The design for the signs is similar to the city's gateway signs completed by Precision Planning, Inc., PPI. Falcon will assist the city with construction administration and bid assistance based on construction documents provided by PPI. Good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This task order will assist the City of Forest Park with the bid assistance and the construction administration of park signs. And as the mayor mentioned in the background and history, we presented the signs to you, I think, maybe at 2 previous meetings. And the only thing that was missing on that presentation was that each sign would have the ward number, Ward 1, Ward 2, or whatever the ward is where the signs are located. They would be located on the sign. But primarily, Falcon is the same company that helped us with the monument signs in the city. And they did a good job in making sure that the signs were constructed the way that they are laid out in the plans by Precision Plan.
Thank you. Councilwoman James. Councilman Antoine.
Yeah, I seen the lighting, very nice. What did it say? It says, welcome to the.
Welcome to the City of Forest
It
Park.
says, welcome to the City of Forest.
Yes, sir.
I see the changes. Thank you.
Yeah, so I saw the lighting also. I appreciate that. I also appreciate your style, Director Shirley. I see you got the handkerchief there. Wiggins, of finance, step your game up. Ricky, step your game up.
Councilwoman Wells.
Oh, my God. No, thank you, Mr. Chief.
I think they do a good job. The signs they've already done is real well put together.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Item number 10, council discussion and approval of case number CUP 2024-01, conditional use permit. Background and history. The applicant is requesting approval for a conditional use permit to own and operate a daycare center within the Single Family Residential District, or RS. Per section 8-8-28, Single Family Residential District, or RS, pre-K facilities and daycare centers require a conditional use permit to operate within the Single Family Residential District. This item was initially scheduled to be heard by the Planning Commission on March 21st, 2024, but was deferred to April 18th, 2024, due to the lack of quorum at the Planning Commission meeting. On April 18th, 2024, the Planning Commission voted to approve the conditional use permit request. The proposed location has been granted a conditional use permit in the past to operate a daycare center, but due to the change of ownership, the business name, the ordinance requires that any new applicant reapply for a conditional use permit. If the mayor and council approve the conditional use permit request, the applicant will move forward with her business plans to own and operate a childcare facility for children ages 6 weeks of age to 12 years of age. Yes, sir.
Yes, Madam Mayor, the conditional use permit is primarily based on our ordinance because it was already a daycare center. But because our ordinance required that anytime there's a change of ownership, or if there's even a business change, name change, then they have to come in and get a conditional use permit. And so the Planning Commission on April 18th approved the conditional use permit. And of course, there's a public hearing on this tonight.
Yes, in the regular session meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman James, questions or comments?
No question.
Councilman Antoine?
No.
Councilman Gutierrez?
No.
Councilwoman Wells?
No.
And Councilman Mears? Thank you. So item 11 will also be for a public hearing at the regular meeting. But it is the council discussion and approval of case TA 2024-02. This is a text amendment. Background and history. With a review of recent centers and places of assembly, the city of Forest Park issued a 180-day moratorium on October 2nd, 2023, which prevented zoning verification and applications and other applications for such businesses from being accepted until an amendment was approved. On April 18th, 2024, the City of Forest Park Planning Commission voted to approve case TA 2024-02, text amendment to clarify and revise certain provisions relating to event centers and similar places of assembly in Article A, the general provisions, Section 8-8-4, definitions of the City of Forest Park Code of Ordinances to amend such section. D, adding event centers and two definitions. Article B, and zoning districts, overlay districts, and design guidelines established. Section 8-8-40, the General Assembly District, General Commercial District, to amend such section and terminate the permitted use of theaters, assembly halls, concert hall, or similar places of assembly when conducted completely within enclosed building in the permitted retail and business use section, and only maintain places of assembly and event centers being permitted as a conditional use. And Article C, Development and Use Standards, Section 8-8-84, limitations on certain businesses of the City of Forest Park Code of Ordinances to amend such section. G, placing and add subsection 11, event centers within Chapter 8, zoning of Code of Ordinances of the City of Forest Park. By mayor and council approval, this text amendment, the Planning and Community Development Department will be able to lift the moratorium and authorize such businesses use within the guidelines of the City of Forest Park zoning ordinance moving forward.
Mayor, this text amendment simply does two things. One, it clarifies what an event center is, because we really never had a definition for event center. And then two, it will remove event centers and theaters and assembly halls as a permitted use, and it will give us more control over what happens at that site by being a conditional use. That way, we can place conditions on the use as presented. And the city council has the last word on those locations and the type of businesses that are there. And right, it'll give you an opportunity to take a closer look at it as we allow event centers and assembly halls and concert halls and some place of assembly.
Thank you, Councilwoman James.
So just for clarity, I'm trying to understand, are you speaking of event centers that are already in existence? Or are you speaking of someone that's trying to do an event?
The existing event center would be grandfathered in. Someone coming in later, they want to do an event center, they would have to do a conditional use permit. And a conditional use permit, we might require them to even do a traffic study, for example. Right now, we don't require that. But if it's a conditional use permit, we might require them to do so. But as far as event center that is existing now, they're grandfathered in.
So just a question, just trying to clarify.
No problem.
If I'm a business owner and I'm purchasing a building just for events, that would be a conditional use?
You would need a conditional use permit, yes, ma'am.
And then I would have to renew it all the time, or how does that work?
No, the conditional use would be a conditional use for that
For
that building
entirety?
entirety.
Okay.
But once he sells it or change ownership, then he has to come back, somebody else have to come back and get a conditional use permit. You're welcome.
Councilman Antoine.
Well, thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Is this common, like with other municipalities?
It is, it is.
Cause I just have a problem with like, my example is, I guess, if you have like a church and you wanna throw a celebration, that means you gotta go get a permit every time you wanna do.
Oh, this has nothing to do with celebration. This has to do with the zoning itself, not with a celebration or anything like that.
So let me try to explain it a different way, if you will, Mayor Butler. So what he's referencing is not an event, it's an actual business that's designated to hold events. And the reason why you would want a conditional use is because depending on where that event center is trying to locate, it could cause issues for the neighbors. And so with it being a conditional use, it doesn't mean that it's not approved. It just means that it goes through another layer of approval so that if it's within your respective ward, you're able to identify based upon where the applicant is attempting to place that business, will it become a nuisance for its neighbors?
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to make sure Representative Burnell had a.
Oh, there's seats
I'm
up front.
sorry.
Oh. And Councilman Mears.
I don't have any.
All right, thank you. Item 12. Council discussion and approval to recognize the Forest Park Police E911 operators as first responders. Background and history. Forest Park Police 911 communication operators are dedicated professionals who work around the clock every day of the year. The communications department comprises 12 operators and a manager, each assigned to one of 4 shifts. It is important to recognize our 911 operators as first responders due to their crucial role in emergencies. These professionals are often the first point of contact in times of crisis, providing critical assistance, guidance, and support to callers until help arrives. They must maintain calm under pressure and dispatch the appropriate emergency services. Designating 911 operators as first responders will help raise awareness of their demanding jobs and highlight their vital role in public safety. Acknowledging our 911 operators as first responders would be a positive step towards recognizing their critical contributions to saving lives and ensuring public safety. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Mr. Clark, City Manager. So this legislation that I'm bringing forth is to just recognize our communication operators, our 911 dispatchers as first responders. They allow us to do our jobs, especially in police and in fire, not to speak on behalf of Chief Clements. But without them, without our communication operators, we can't do our job successfully, efficiently, and effectively. So this is just that step forward of making them, recognizing them as first responders.
Councilwoman James. Councilman
My pleasure.
Antoine.
My pleasure.
Gutierrez.
Thank you, Chief.
Councilwoman Wells. And Councilman Mears.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Item 13, council discussion and approval to transfer a service weapon. Background and history. Pursuant to the higher incentive approved by mayor and council, an employee who has reached 25 years of service is privy to his or her own service weapon. The Forest Park Police Department requests the transfer of a Glock 22 and a .40 caliber to George T. Orr. He hasn't received it? I thought we approved that a long, anyhow. Who retired January 31st of 2020 with 33 years of service to the department. There is no cost associated with this transfer. You have the floor, sir.
All right. This is just a service, a transfer of his service weapon after servicing the city of Forest Park for a number of years. To my understanding, this was never completed by the previous administration, so I'm bringing it forward so I can hopefully complete this transaction or this transfer.
Councilwoman James, Councilman Antoine, Councilman Gutierrez,
Thank you, Chief.
Councilwoman Wells, and Councilman Mears.
Is this something you want to continue on an ongoing basis as the years and time works out together?
Yes, and to my understanding, it was just this is based off of something that was legislation that was brought forth prior to me for anyone who serves the city for 20+ years.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Are they waiting to come in? We have seats up front at the table here if there are people out front.
That's my son, y'all.
Hey.
Chief, can you look back and make sure this has happened? Because we thought we were. on
So,
fresh
yeah,
start.
so I know we approved it, like you said, during the previous administration. And it's just really surprising that it had not taken place after all these years.
Yeah, he had contacted me here recently and said this was something that was supposed to have been done in the previous administration. And I did not have record of it. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it forth, but we'll do some additional research to ensure
Thank
that it was not completed or executed before.
Well, it may have been approved. The gun just was never transferred. It's the same gun, isn't it?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Item 14, council discussion and approval to award Omega Pest Solutions for citywide pest control. Background and history. The procurement department is seeking council approval to award Omega Pest Services for citywide pest control services. In an effort to centralize some of our professional services throughout the city of Forest Park initiated a competitive bidding process for citywide pest control services on March 14th, 2024. Following a thorough evaluation, the procurement department is recommending the award of contract to Omega Pest Solutions. 3 companies submitted bid for pest control services. Powerhouse Termite and Pest Control, Inc. for $20,400 per year. Orkin LLC for $16,327.56 per year, and Omega Pest Solutions, $5,940 per year. Omega Pest Solutions emerged as the lowest bidder, meeting all necessary licensing and certification requirements. The proposed contract is for a term of 1 year with provisions and evaluation of potential renewal for up to 2 additional 1-year terms. Omega Pest Solutions will provide on-site pest control services on a monthly basis, as well as rodent removal as needed, servicing a total of 17 buildings throughout the city.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This was a bid, and we had 3 competitors. They were all qualified. But as you can see, the lowest bidder was much lower than the other 2. So we brought them in, we talked to them to make sure that they could adequately do the work. And we did check their references. They had good references. So we're comfortable with moving forward with this legislation.
Mayor Butler?
Yes.
One of the things I want to share with the governing body, this is another, I think this makes number 4, RFP that you've seen on recent agendas where we're centralizing things, and by centralizing them, we're saving money because we probably had 5 to 6 different pest control companies that were servicing the entirety of this city. And so I too can understand how the cost looks this way, but it's a minority-owned company, and all of their references pan out. And what we're looking at is this 1-year period so that we can evaluate if it's not working. We know we just need to proceed in a different way.
Thank you. Councilwoman James. Councilman Antoine.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Gutierrez.
Thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Wells.
Well, yeah, but they got me not wanting to say nothing. It was the low fee, so I just want to make sure we get what we're getting, what we need, because that is like drastically lower. And I'm all for minority businesses, all for it, and them getting in on the contracts, but that's drastically low. And can I ask how many employees they have? Like, how many?
It's a full team. And Councilwoman Wells, I share the same sentiments, which is why I shared with Mr. Jeter and team. I say, bring them in, let me meet with them. And it was very clear that they're well qualified to do the work. Now, some of it, and I didn't go much into it with them because I like the cost. But some of it I shared with them, you need to really evaluate how you bid, because for them, it's their first time really landing a major governmental contract. And of course, it can be scary. And so to ensure that they got the opportunity to put within their portfolio that they service the government, they essentially, these numbers are accurate, based upon the chemicals that they use. They're all certified. And the other thing I'll add, Councilwoman Wells, another reason for the 1 year is because we're also looking to send some of our public works employees to get the same certification. And so then we can do it in-house, and I'd rather pay the employees than even an outside vendor. But we will monitor it closely. I told Mr. Jeter, one way you can tell if a pest control company is working is if you see water bugs turned over. If you don't see water bugs turned over and you don't see insects dead, that means it is not working.
So
I just want to make sure we're spraying chemicals in that water, because
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Mears.
But again, we did check their background and their references, and they had very high references.
Councilman Mears, did you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I like the idea about, training their own employees to do that. It's, all they gotta do is get the chemical license, which they can do that in the span. So that would save us a lot of money.
It would. And then once you get the license, I mean, they can take that with them forever. And to
Right.
me, that's a certification
Right.
that we'll pay for.
Right.
I'm not sure if Director Jenks is here to share where they are in that process of getting those employees into that class.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Mayor, they have the books, they're studying, and when they get to a point, all they have to do is schedule the test through the state and pass the test and like you said, you get certification. And you just have to go through and get a certain amount of hours over a 5-year period to be recertified, so.
Right, thank you. Councilman Wells?
Yeah, so once, I love that idea too. I'm all about, helping our employees to better themselves. But once they get that certification, is it gonna come with more money?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things I shared with the employees, and I'm not sure which employees received the books, I would rather pay you for the certification, similar to what we do with our public safety entities, and we save money on the back end. I'd rather do it in-house, for as many services as we can. And I shared this with them so they know if they complete it, they get an increase.
Mr. Jenks, tell them to hurry up.
I will, but two of them's no longer with us, so
Oh, wow.
I'm having a meeting this week to discuss all the opportunities that's out there to make their self grow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15, council discussion and approval of designating public works as first responders. Background and history. The Public Works Department seeks council approval to recognize and designate public works as first responders. This designation is in alignment with the national observance of National Public Works Week, celebrated annually from May 19th to May 25th. President George W. Bush issued Presidential Policy Directive 8 in 2003, officially recognizing public works as first responders. In 2010, Mississippi, under House Bill 664, recognized public works professionals as first responders. The APWA Board of Directors approved the adoption of a National Public Works First Responder symbol for use throughout North America in 2017. The U.S. Senate passed Senate Concurrent Resolution 15 in 2019, expressing support for the designation of October 28th, 2029, as honoring the nation's First Responders Day, with public works specifically included. In 2022, New Hampshire Governor signed into law S. Bill 325, formally recognizing public works employees as first responders. Public works professionals are often referred to as the silent arm of public safety, providing vital support to emergency response partners and helping protect and restore essential services following emergencies. The National Incident Management System lists public works alongside police, fire, and public health as essential components of emergency response. Public works professionals are often the first on the scene and the last to leave during disasters, providing critical support to other first responders. This designation would serve as an invaluable morale boost for public works staff and reaffirm their commitment to servicing the community. Recognizing public works as first responders does not diminish their heroic acts of law enforcement or fire departments, but acknowledging the specialized support public works provide, such as maintaining clear and safe roadways during emergency situations. Yes.
Basically, as you can see, as the years progress, especially since 9/11, that the government and everybody's actually seeing the role that public works puts in. And I know our police will stand right here beside me, and the 911 dispatchers, they call me, any of my guys, any time of the night, we're there, no questions asked. It's gonna be a huge morale booster, because when I send employees to class, conference, they come back showing these pictures. Why does all these cities have this tag on the front saying first responders with the flag and stuff? And I've tried to bring it up in front of other city managers, and it's always been kicked back. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to run it across, and I will say that, Mr. Clark, you never called or questioned it. You just went straight to the agenda, and I do appreciate that.
Councilwoman James. Councilman Antoine. Councilman Gutierrez.
No, thank you, ma'am.
Councilwoman Wells.
Definitely.
And
Yes, so for one, thank you. And I was gonna say, you took the words out of my mouth, because I was gonna say this had to be, Mr. Clark. Because I know we've discussed this and, talked about it for a long time, because I've always said, everybody knows Public Works is my favorite department. But, they're always left on the back burner. And so I thank you for bringing this forward, and Mr. Clark, you for helping to initiate it. But they are definitely, first responders in my book, and so they deserve the treatment as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Jameson.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells, I don't want to take all the credit. I think all the council members up here said at one point or another that this is something. I know you really pushed it. Mayor Butler's pushed it. Ms. James has brought it to me. Councilman Gutierrez. It's just time. There is not enough that we can do for our public works employees, and for us to be doing this through Public Works Appreciation Week across the world. I just think it's simply amazing, and it shows how forward thinking this governing body really is.
If Bush approved it in 2003, we'll look 21 years behind.
Just honestly, I just wanted to say that nobody said nothing to me. I just put it on the agenda and it went through.
Yeah,
Thank
yes.
you.
Councilman Mears. Item 16, council discussion and approval on a 5-stall portable restroom for city events in the amount of $20,250. Background and history. The city of Forest Park hosts various special events for the community within Star Park throughout the year. With each event, the need for accessible restrooms grows. To meet that need, the Recreation and Leisure Services Department is looking to rent a 5-stall portable restroom through Clean Space, which is the local Forest Park business. These 5-stall portable restrooms would be used for 15 upcoming city events for a total of $20,250. We are requesting to have this amount budgeted for the upcoming fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is a item that Recreation and Leisure was purchasing on a as event needed basis to have a 5-stall portable restroom at the city events. And so we worked with them, worked with them to look at the cost effectiveness of one, possibly purchasing our own 5-stall portable restroom. But we did not, well, we learned that in doing that, there was a amount that's associated to the upkeep. So that ended up being more expensive to the city than just going ahead and staying with the portable rentals for the events. But since these events are already identified, we thought it would definitely be most cost effective to go ahead and secure the portable rentals for the stall for an annual basis. And so we did an online market research, and we are going with the local City of Forest Park business that has provided the stalls before and provided us a great discount to go ahead and secure it for a yearly basis for the 15 events. And they were the lowest cost amongst the other two.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. In the past, we've had at our events roughly over 300-400 people throughout the day. And currently we only have maybe 3 restrooms that were being used. So that's why we're looking to increase the number of restrooms we have for the events that we currently operate.
Thank you. Councilwoman James?
No questions. No questions about that. I was just to say that, is that something that we're looking into when we build our new facility to make sure we have enough restrooms?
Yes, ma'am. So your restrooms, you'll have the city center. right here. So the restrooms will be open in the building as well as you have restrooms in the gymnasium. To this, my only question, Mayor Butler, is how do we select what those 15 events are going to be? Because what I don't want to happen is that one person have an event and they're not there, and then they're there for another event. If we're going to be consistent, I want to be consistent across the board. That's why the option came up to purchase it outright so that you have it at all events instead of, I just want to make certain that the governing body is clear what events it'll be at. Because it's nice. I mean, it's a nice porta john, but I think we got to be very clear up front. You know what those events are so that I don't get the calls.
Councilman Antoine,
No.
Councilman Gutierrez,
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I thank you, Mr. Maxwell. But $20,000, we couldn't build our own restroom?
I want to say the cost for this was 80,000 to
About
purchase it?
68,000 to purchase it, and then an additional 11,000 for the upkeep and removal of waste and things of that nature. And we don't have the in-house capabilities of maintaining it, so we would have to pay that in addition to whoever we purchased it from.
No, I was talking about building one, not buying one.
Built-
But-
oh,
But so that's technically about roughly $1,300 per event. So it doesn't matter how long that event is, so we can have a 2-3 hour event, it's still gonna be $1,300 to rent it.
Well, most of the events that we're using it for are some hours plus, that we're discussing and using them for, not just the smaller hour events.
But
Councilman Mears,
a day rate.
Yeah.
That's it for the entire day.
Councilman Mears.
Yeah, I'm for that. We need, I guess in our planning for the new park and everything to make sure we got enough bathrooms. I'll give you a little history. It ain't much. I use them bathrooms when I play T-ball.
Oh.
That's BC,
Oh
okay?
my
Back-
gosh. Did you really just say that?
Same lids.
All right, well, thank you. Item
Too
7.
much information.
Goodness, council discussion and approval on senior center floor repairs, background and history. The Recreation and Leisure Services Department is looking to repair the damage to the floor of the multipurpose room in the senior center building. We have received 3 quotes to complete the repairs from 3 different contractors. The first quote is for $34,139.60. The second quote is $32,850.24, and the last is $31,750. The original lowest quote provided through Hopkins Renovation and Design has decreased from $31,750 to $20,300 due to the department covering the cost of materials needed using the Home Depot account. Based on the quote provided, the department has chosen to go with Hopkins Renovation and Design to complete the repairs. The funding source for such will come from capital outlay line item 300-41-6110-54-2503. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. We did receive 3 quotes, and the lowest responsive and responsible bidder was selected. References were checked on them as well. And again, it went down so that the city could go ahead and make the purchase for the materials needed to complete the project, which we would get at a lesser cost than the vendor going out and purchasing it.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman James, questions or comments? Councilman Antoine?
Nope.
Councilman Gutierrez?
No, Mayor, but I just want to shout you out. You've been reading a lot today.
Yes, Lord.
Great.
Can't wait for that consent agenda. Councilwoman Wells
No.
and Councilman Mears.
No.
Thank you. All right, thank you. That concludes the work session. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. That was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
I'll second.
That was Councilwoman James. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. You guys need a break before we get started?
Yes, I have to.
Okay, 5 minutes, please. All right, good evening, everyone.
Hey.
It is 7:21, and the regular session for mayor and council for May 20th is called to order.
21.
So, Dr. Beal, are you doing tonight's invocation?
Yeah.
Okay, so all those who are able to stand, can you please do so? And then remain standing throughout the Pledge of Allegiance.
I can holler real loud.
Hallelujah. Father, we come boldly to your throne of grace this night, Lord. For you are God, and above you there is no other. Lord, we come to you asking you to bless us, Lord. Give us wisdom, give us knowledge. Lord, more than anything else, give us compassion and love for each other. Lord, I pray that you will enable this city, Lord, to become what the dreams are, Lord, what the aspirations are. Lord, let them be that city that is set up on the hill, that is a light and a beacon to all of those that are in need, Lord, those that are in despair, Lord, those that want hope, Lord. Let them remember that you are the one who is able to do above anything that they're able to ask or think, Lord. Let it come to pass in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States under God, indivisible, with liberty,
Justice for all. Ms. Rainey, roll call, please.
Good evening. This is the roll call for the regular session of May 20th, 2024. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James,
Present.
Councilmember Anton,
Evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Present. Thank you, Dr. Biller. Got me pumped now. I'm ready.
Councilmember Akins Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
here.
Mayor Butler, you have a quorum.
Okay, so as it pertains to tonight's agenda, item, wait, was the truck on here?
Yes, ma'am. First, item number 4 on the new business.
Item number 4 under new business will be removed.
Item number
Um,
8.
Item number, oh, and then, so I'm gonna ask if we can move item number 8 up to item number 1, and so we're gonna do that resolution and then the proclamation for the Purple Heart designation. And then items, was it 10 and 11 are public hearing items. So is there a motion?
13 and 14, Mayor.
Oh, sorry, 13 and 14 on the work session, the regular session. So is there a motion to accept the agenda with such changes?
So moved.
Now it's Councilwoman James, is there a second? Now it's Councilwoman Wells, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The minutes from our May 1st meeting, has everyone and our special call meeting on May 1st and the regular meeting on May 6th. Has everyone had the opportunity to review them? And if so, are there any changes to be recommended? Not hearing any? Yes, sir? All right, not hearing anything. Is there a motion to group set minutes together and approve as is?
No move.
That's Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
Second.
That's Councilman Mears. Is there any discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James,
Abstain.
That's why. Councilman Antoine?
Aye.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Aye.
And Councilman Mears?
Aye.
Thank you. I do not see any public comment sheets.
no, ma'am.
Okay, so there are no public comments or city managers report.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Mayor Butler, members of the governing body. Due to the agenda tonight, I'm going to condense this report. But one of the major things I want to share with you is that the playground initiative, Perkins Park is starting this week. They're starting on the goal and the court. So we're really excited about the work over there, as well as all of our playground equipment that we're replacing all of at all of our parks will be here in June. So by the end of summer, you should start seeing some of that in full swing. I'll send out an email to all of you as well as the community with the full contents of the city manager's report.
All right, thank you very much. And so our proclamation and resolution. Let's do the resolution first. That was item 8. So is there a motion to approve the establishment of the City of Forest Park as a Purple Heart City?
So move.
That was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
I'll second.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there any further discussion? Ms. Rainey?
Councilmember James.
Yes.
Councilmember Anton.
Yes.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilmember Akins Wells.
Yes.
Councilmember Mears.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So can I have members of the governing body and our city manager come forward so we can officially present the proclamation? The long haul recording active military service for the women, veterans, and those who are served our great nation. And whereas in 1941, Fort Gillem was established in Fort Park, Georgia, and started as installation base to house various appliance support units, including the U.S. Army's Criminal Investigation Division, Crime Lab, and Forensic Laboratory located at the 250-acre Gillem Enclave, which remains open at this present day. And whereas the Purple Heart Medal is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created in 1782 as a badge of military merit by our nation's first president, George Washington. And whereas it is the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart to foster an environment of goodwill amongst combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, to make sure we never forget the cost of defending freedom. And whereas the City of Forest Park continues to pay tribute to the sacrifices made by Purple Heart recipients and firmly believes that it is important to acknowledge them for their courage, honor, and dedication to our country. Now therefore it be resolved that the City of Forest Park Council hereby proclaims the City of Forest Park to be a Purple Heart City and honors all those who courageously served and made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation's freedom.
The Military Order of the Purple Heart. Oh, I don't need that. I think they can hear me.
Can y'all hear? Y'all hear?
The Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride on this day, May 20th, 2024, to the City of Forest Park for your dedication and support honoring America's combat wounded veterans by becoming a Purple Heart City. On behalf of the Purple Heart, Military Order of the Purple Heart, I wish to thank you all for your support and welcome to the family.
All right.
If we could get one picture with you all, we'll be at your head.
Oh, absolutely. But first, we have State Representative Rhonda Brunel with us. Is there anything you would like to add?
Thank you for this recognition. I think you all are our fourth city. Our goal is to make the entire county a Purple Heart County. And so the county's date is in June, Lovejoy is in June, and Lake City is in June. And after that, by the end of June, all of our cities will be Purple Heart cities along with our county. So we thank you for your support. And this is really good because next Monday is Memorial Day. And they will have signs outside wherever they designate to say they're Purple Heart City.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Get in here, Bo. Get in here, Bo. We're gonna get all these.
I can stand. That way you'll be up there.
Make sure you get me.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so very much. Bless you.
The public.
Thank you, sir. Not your man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Did you skip the other one? The other one is in there, because he's not the one.
Okay, so the next proclamation is going to be presented to our Public Works Department. Woo!